Hey y'all, good morning. Welcome back to Ascending with Ashley. I'm Ashley. This is a collective coffee quick. I haven't really heard much more hacking stuff since that happened, which is like I think what we talked about last collective coffee. I do want to speak on what I'm seeing and talk a little bit about martial law. No, I'm not seeing martial law, but I'm seeing preparedness potentially. A lot of us are. So there's a lot of military vehicles being transported or even just being like driven on regular roads, highways. So there's a lot of trucks that are being moved, or not trucks, trains with military equipment all over the country that people are seeing and sharing. There's been tanks like driving down the streets, I know in Philadelphia, but some folks were talking about how that could have been for the bridge, but also I feel like if the bridge that like went down last week, if it was an attack, it could be why we're seeing military. But anyway, I want to talk about martial law quick. So martial law is like military control. So like it's when if the president were to call martial law, then we would see military all over. And I feel like it would also be like jurisdictions, all law enforcement, but it would definitely be military deployment into like American neighborhood cities. We've seen things like this with, with reserves being sent in after like big catastrophes or after protests and stuff. We see like municipalities enacting some sort of martial law. But at a large scale, we haven't experienced this all together. But I think that it's important to talk about. So, and like what that would look like. So basically, like the government wouldn't have control. It would be military control. Civil liberties of citizens would be put on hold. So it could be really, really awful. We would see a lot of checkpoints. You would be seeing military presence. You would be seeing like the vehicles. You would see people in their uniforms. People would have curfews. People would have certain times, kind of like what we saw with COVID at certain points where you could only like go certain places. I don't think our country saw that so bad after like the first month, but there would be things like that, different time frames that people could leave, certain places that they could go only, things like that. Highways would probably have checkpoints if people were able to travel via highway. But yeah, martial law, people are starting to talk about it and it's just becoming a keyword. So I wanted to get on and share a little bit about that. We don't want martial law. It's not going to be good, but can really happen. So especially with everything we're seeing. So another reason why you want to get prepared a little bit, have some stuff at home so you can be at home comfortably. Also, I wanted to just quickly talk about the Schumann resonance. I'm not super familiar, but like a shit ton of people on TikTok I follow like do Schumann resonance like updates every day. And yesterday morning when everyone woke up, we were seeing things. So the Schumann resonance is like the measurement of the Earth's frequencies, like electromagnetic frequencies. And people have been talking about this big shift happening from 3D to 5D for years. And we talked about how that's been co-opted by QAnon. But anyway, so we're all electric magnetic beings. Our heartbeats, our frequencies, we have different frequencies, but like the Earth itself, usually the Schumann resonance looks like pretty, like it kind of looks like this, like there will be like big spots of light, and then like, it looks like a different light light pattern It's not a galaxy, but I'm just trying to show, like, I don't know. Anyway, you can Google it. But yesterday, when everyone woke up, there are some sacred geometry patterns that are happening on the Schumann resonance, which nobody's ever seen before. Some people are speculating that it could be like because of what CERN has done with their collider shit. That's like what people talk about with the Mandela effect too. They blame it on CERN. But anyway, all that to say is last week when we did the collective reading, a message came through from Mother Earth, Gaia, to ground, to put your feet on the fucking earth and ground and help. And I feel like I've been seeing it from all these other tarots. You know, we're all channeled a certain degree of different messages to share to our corner collectives. You know what I mean? Because that's the whole impact, is to try to raise Earth's frequency. So it is being changed, which is so fucking cool. I highly suggest looking it up, even if you just get on TikTok and like Google or like hashtag the Schumann resonance. You'll see what people are talking about. But there's all of these, and we woke up today to it doing the same thing, except it looks like the sacred geometry patterns are a little bit even more defined today. So this is kind of exciting because just where we're at on the planet, like with all these low vibrations and just horrible things happening over and over and over and back to back to back to back. It looks like this big shift in the Earth's energy has happened. So continue to ground, which is what she said last week. I think the more that we all connect to the Earth and the more that we help with that energy, the more we're going to see things start to shift for better. But we have to remember that the powers that be right now don't want like a utopian way of life. They don't want folks to, you know, be in unity and whatnot. So they're gonna fight even harder, knowing that these energies are changing themselves, and we're all impacting that. So we could see something crazy like martial law come into play. We could see these conflicts between nations rising in this time because they're trying to keep these energies down. Anyway, more about that in a different segment, I'm sure. But I just wanted to quickly touch on martial law. I don't know if it's going to happen. I do know that people in reserves have been called for active. So that's happening. And then I also wanted to share that I'm on Tinder. And there was this guy I met, we matched a few months ago, but he told me he was from Europe and he was stationed at a military base here in Arizona. And so I was like, oh, tell me more. And so he told me that there are 13 different countries here in Arizona, at least, at a military base. He would not tell me. I'm like, are you UN? Because if UN is coming in, it could be like martial law on steroids. He would not tell me if he was UN. He said, kind of. He's like, we're in training. I'm like, why are you training? So there's like 13 different European, I think he said South America too, countries that have sent troops here to the United States for training in this time, like right now. He said he would be here for a year unless something happened, right? So I want you to know that Tinder is really great for getting inside information. So just know that there are other countries here doing training with the military. The reserves, some of the reserves, I can't speak to all of them, have been called for active duty or training. A lot of people are speculating that this is just like annual military training. Every summer they do it, and that's the only way that they're moving stuff, or the only reason. But I just want to, like, in light of everything that's happening, I absolutely don't think that what's happening, like what people are sharing, is standard normal. I feel like we're getting ready at, well, not we, I'm not getting ready, well, I am, but not for that. I feel like the country and the military are getting ready for a response to something. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind about the energy. Do your best to, go outside, ground, hug a tree. That's not gonna stop all of this, but it's gonna help. So just understand that these energies, the Earth's energy is currently changing. If you do any work with sacred geometry, or if you feel like even just like doodling, let your hand just go and see what you doodle. If it, check out the Schumann resonance. I don't know. I don't study it, but I'm seeing it everywhere. It impacts energy and fatigue and stuff. So, yeah, all that. So, yeah, I think that's it. I know these are two like seemingly wild, contradictory things to talk about in the same time. But remember that when the earth, bad energy feeds off of bad energy. You know that saying, misery loves company? So if we have a lot of bad energy feeding, but the earth is like changing, people, I don't know, when people stop being, there's like a magnetic force for both things, right? Law of attraction, law of karma, even. Like what you focus on, you get more of. When it rains, it pours. That's why, because you're focused on one bad thing, so then a bunch of bad things come. So all that to say is that when we continue to focus on like these energy frequencies and us ourselves being like vessels on this planet, we can impact the energy at a good level. It's the least we can do for what we are seeing at like a warring level, you know what I mean? Like, so just know that darker energy forces are going to be picking up to try and keep things dark, while the earth is shifting these frequencies and coming into a more sacred harmony within herself. I mean, we're seeing sacred geometry, like think crop circle kind of shit, like all of that, like the sacred geometry coming through on this Schumann resonance. I mean, it's just like a huge buzz topic right now. People have never seen it look like this. So all that to say is that the powers that be might have to inflict some pretty gnarly shit to try and remain what's the word I'm looking for? Remain. Oh, God, I always lose words. Remain. Relevant. To remain relevant. That's the word. And in control. So, yeah, kind of all over the place. Do your best to get outside with bare feet. Again, I'm going to share the exercise. Close your eyes if you are standing on the earth, ground. Put your feet on the ground and envision light coming through you, poking out like roots, like tree or plant roots, poking out of your feet, going into the earth, wrapping around the earth's core. If it's, there. Bringing that energy from the earth's core back up through the crest of the earth, into your feet, all the way up your body, and out through your crown. Okay? This is how we ground. Really take advantage of these frequencies that the earth is doing. You might feel called in that meditation to do some mudras with your hands, things you may have never done before. Allow it. Feel your body, if some part of your body is giving you sensations. Focus on that. Alleviate things like that if you need to. But yeah, really take some time in the next few days, I would say, to ground. Again, this message is being shared by a lot of people right now with this energy. We got this message last week in the cards. So continue to ground. Earth is shifting. I'm not talking about like a rapture or the QAnon shit. I'm saying like the frequencies of the earth are showing humans sacred geometry on this graph. So this is big. This hasn't happened. It's usually just blobs of color. So really, really utilize the earth's energy right now to support yourself, ground yourself, stay aware about what's happening, get things that you need if there was martial law enacted, get all of your paperwork together. I mean, if there's checkpoints, your paperwork, birth certificates, things like that, especially with what we're seeing with like all this fascism and the government really getting into personal people's stuff. So just at a 3D level, get yourselves ready for some gnarly shit. I've been saying this. And then at your own physical self, energetic, emotional level, really ground, and feel the support from the earth. Remember, Mother Earth Gaia is our comrade, and we can be better comrades to her. So I'm gonna end it on there. I hope you all kept up with that. Remember, it's collective coffee. So have a good day.